Okay, the third lighting setup in this shoot. We've talked about the first two, now it's time to get into the third, where we spray painted Sulli's hair a bright pink. Let's get into it. So for this lighting setup, I was using the same Aputure D300 2 lights. In this scenario, I'm using 2 again. The front light, that's the main light, is still using the softbox, angling kind of down at Sulli, a little bit to the right. In the last look, it was higher up above and kind of angling down at him to create some nice overhead shadows. In this scenario, it was more at a normal height, hitting him from one side a little bit more than the other. The second light was behind him, angling at the white wall. By doing this, it allows me to have that wall look bright white, and it also lets a lot of light spill forward to kind of fill in some of the gaps, to kind of give him some nice rim lighting from behind, and just makes everything look really clean and bright. Overall, this is a look that you often see in like magazine covers. You see it a lot with beauty ads. This look is like a very, very classic way to shoot kind of fashion portraiture. Here are some examples where you can see it's basically the same lighting setup as some of these magazine covers, some of these editorials, and you can achieve this lighting setup in a variety of different ways. You can also play with how those lights are interacting with each other a little bit just by either increasing the power output or decreasing it. In the case with this shoot, the front light is at full power, and so Sulli is very well lit. It's nice and contrasty to the background. Both of them feel pretty well balanced. However, I could decrease the power of the front light and make the front or the subject look a little bit more shadowy, a little bit more dimmer lit, so that the light primarily is coming from behind. And what that is going to do is give it a much more backlit look and give it sort of the feeling of like you're outside or there's light coming from behind from a window or something like that, versus if it's all the way on and bright and contrasty from the front, it's going to feel much more like a studio light setup. So it's fun to play around with the different ways that you can adjust the power on the lights to get sort of different looks with essentially the same setup. Here's an example of a shoot that I did where I had the light behind the model and it was hitting sort of the white backdrop and then spilling onto the model from behind and from up above. And then there was no light in the front. So the only light that's hitting the model from the front was just like whatever was reflecting off of the white floor and whatever was spilling from behind. I also did this shoot where the light was definitely more powerful hitting the backdrop, and the front was a little bit more of a softer, less powerful light. Even though there was a light in the front, it just was toned back a little bit more, and the light behind was the one that was more powerful. So as you can see, there's just a lot of different ways you can play around with this same exact setup to get some different looks. I love shooting this way. I feel like it's super great for fashion shoots, for editorial. There's a lot you can do with it. I also tried some shots with this particular hair look where I turned the backlight off, so no light was hitting the wall, and I just used the softbox that was in front, and I liked that. Here are some examples, but I feel like this particular hair look really benefited from having that bright white light back behind. And in the film shots that I took, I actually ended up using my flash. So I didn't use the lights that were present at all. I just used the flash on the camera. And I actually think that was my favorite way to shoot it. It just felt like it matched the look really well. And there you have it. That is the third setup from my shoot with Sulli. And if you want to know more about different lighting setups, if you like this video, drop a comment, let me know, and make sure to subscribe so you can keep seeing videos like this come up on your feed as I continue to post more and more on this YouTube channel. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you again soon.